How someone could pull off the perfect heist, steal a fortune in plain sight, and then vanish into thin air. This is the mystery of D.B. Cooper, the man who hijacked a plane, stole $200,000 and disappeared without a trace, leaving behind one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. It all began on November 24, 1971. A man who called himself Dan Cooper bought a one-way ticket for Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. He looked ordinary enough, a quiet man in his mid-40s, wearing a black suit, white shirt, black tie and dark sunglasses. Nothing about him stood out to the other passengers. But shortly after takeoff, everything changed. Cooper handed a note to the flight attendant, who initially thought it was just another man trying to flirt with her. She pocketed the note without reading it. But Cooper leaned in and quietly said, "Miss, you'd better read that, I have a bomb." Imagine the shock. The note was a simple demand: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle to refuel the plane. Cooper also showed her the bomb, carefully packed inside his briefcase, red cylinders, wires and all. The flight crew immediately alerted authorities, and the FBI got to work, gathering the ransom money from local banks. To ensure the bills were traceable, they recorded the serial numbers of every $20 bill before delivering them. As the plane circled Seattle to give the authorities time to prepare, the passengers had no idea what was going on. Cooper kept calm and polite, even ordering a bourbon and soda while he waited for the money. When the plane finally landed in Seattle, Cooper let all 36 passengers go in exchange for the cash and parachutes. The flight crew, however, remained on board, as Cooper had more plans in store. Here's where things get even stranger. Cooper ordered the pilots to take off again, directing them to fly south towards Mexico City. He gave very specific instructions. The plane was to fly at 10,000 feet at the lowest speed possible without stalling and with the landing gear down. He also requested that the rear exit stairs remain extended. The pilots followed his orders, and soon after takeoff, Cooper sent the flight attendants to the cockpit, leaving him alone in the main cabin. And then, somewhere over the dark, stormy forests of the Pacific Northwest, Cooper did the unthinkable. He strapped on one of the parachutes, tied the ransom money to himself, and jumped out of the back of the plane. Just like that, he disappeared into the night. The pilots had no idea when he jumped or where. All they knew was that when they landed safely in Reno, Nevada, Cooper was no longer on board. What followed was one of the largest manhunts in FBI history. Hundreds of military troops, police officers, and volunteers combed through the dense forests of Washington and Oregon, searching for any sign of Cooper or the money. But they found nothing. No body, no parachute, no trace of where he could have landed. The FBI thought the odds of his survival were slim. The jump was made in terrible conditions: heavy rain, freezing temperatures, and strong winds. And Cooper jumped into complete darkness, with no way to control his landing in such rough terrain. But then, a twist in the story added a new layer of intrigue. In 1980, almost 9 years after Cooper's jump, a young boy digging along the banks of the Columbia River discovered a decaying package of $20 bills buried in the sand. When authorities examined the money, they confirmed it was part of Cooper's ransom, still bound in the original rubber bands. How did it end up there? Did Cooper lose some of the money during the jump? Did he die shortly after landing, with the rest of the money lost somewhere in the wilderness? Or, as some believe, did Cooper survive and bury the money himself as a way to throw investigators off his trail? There are countless theories. Some believe Cooper was an experienced parachutist, maybe even ex-military, who had planned the jump to perfection. Others think he was an ordinary man who got incredibly lucky and managed to start a new life under a different identity. Some even speculate that Cooper died in the jump, with his body hidden somewhere deep in the forest. But there are strange details that fuel the mystery even further. The parachute Cooper used was an older, non-steerable model, making it nearly impossible for him to have planned a precise landing. And the conditions he jumped into, rain, freezing cold, and winds up to 200 miles per hour, made survival seem unlikely. Yet no trace of him has ever been found. Over the years, hundreds of people have come forward claiming to know Cooper's identity, or even that they were D.B. Cooper. But none of these leads have ever panned out. The FBI officially closed the case in 2016 after more than 4 decades of investigation, leaving the mystery of DB Cooper unsolved. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching today's episode of Shadow Sphere.